All right, we are live now, streaming on YouTube. The first case I'll call is cause number CCL 19C590 in the matter of Elijah Smith. Let me ask the counsel for appearances along with other parties.
Courtney Shelton, attorney for the department.
Gary Albertson, attorney ad litem for Elijah.
Patricia Smith Wacasta.
And the parents are not present, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
That being Marilyn Smith and Willie Poindexter.
Yes, Your Honor.
I reviewed this case yesterday and it appears the department's permanent managing conservator, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And this is a review hearing, so you may proceed.
Your Honor, Elijah has an uncle in Missouri that is wanting permanent managing conservatorship of Elijah. He does want to go there. He's been having contact with his uncle. The contract for where he's staying expires in September, but he actually doesn't turn 18 until November. We were requesting the uncle to get criminal background checks, and for some reason he could not do that. I ended up running a criminal history on him through our system. He's got some history out of Missouri for driving while license suspended. Nothing well, in my opinion, for Texas, it wasn't major, but it showed up to be a felony back in I don't know how they do things over in Missouri, but he was just arrested for it. He was arrested back in 2008 for it, and then he was just arrested in January for it. I think Jill talked to him, and he said that his son would be driving him, that he is not driving anymore. So we're not asking for a directed placement with him, but I'm leaving that up to the ad litem and CASA. I have not had any contact with Mr. Smith. I don't know if they've done a walkthrough of the home or if they're comfortable with Mr. Smith. So I'll leave that to their discretion.
He's in Fort Bend County institutional situation, is that correct? I recall that.
Jill.
Elijah, yes, sir. He is in a child-specific contract in Fort Bend County.
Okay, what is a child-specific contract?
I think she's passing the ball to me, Judge.
Okay.
A child-specific contract is when a child has a level of care that's at such a level, I guess, he's intense, that a regional treatment center or a therapeutic foster home, they do not believe can meet that child's needs. So they reach out to specific facilities and or agencies that could do what they call a child-specific contract, which is basically where we say, these are the needs of the child that need to be met, and this is what we expect for you to do for him on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. And they negotiate a price to be able to fulfill those needs. So since since removal, he's been in this child-specific contract. He is in a home, a large home, and he is the only child there. And they are required to have 2 staff with him when he is not in school at all times. Originally, it was 1 staff. They negotiated a contract to add a 2nd staff, obviously also negotiating it at a higher price. So because he has been in this child-specific contract for this long, the state of Texas reviews those periodically, and they met with Jill and I in January or February and said that they've reviewed it and that they've decided that the state will not extend the contract when it expires, which is in September. Since he doesn't turn 18 till November, the state would not extend that contract with this agency or any other agency. Basically, from September to November, he would sit in the office with us. Like, we would have to do a child watch schedule and keep him locally until such time as he turned 18. And so when we met with him in January, they suggested that we start reaching out and trying to find somebody else, family or fictive kin, that would be interested in placement. And that's what kind of started the process. The uncle had actually already contacted Jill just before that meeting, and he had been trying to get his FBI checks, but because of COVID, they wouldn't let him come in locally. What we normally do is just send him to their local department and they do their checks. And he wasn't able to do that. So we did recently sent an online application for him to fill out, but it was just quicker for Courtney to do it because, you know, the online application still takes some time. And we were trying to get that background at least before we had this hearing, so we would know, you know, at least to be able to report to you if he had anything major on his criminal history.
It sounds like the alternative of having him basically sit with you guys from September to November is terrible. So,
Well, we agree. It is terrible. We have pretty much had a child here in Atlanta, not necessarily from Cass County, but since November, all but maybe 2 or 3 weeks, we've had a child watch going on here. And so our staff have to sign up for schedules, and the Cornerstone Church in Atlanta, where Piggly Wiggly's used to be, they have that youth center, and they've done a memorandum of understanding, and they let us stay there with the child in the youth room. But it's still not, I mean, it's not a good scenario. The child shouldn't be raised in an office. So
when does he turn 18?
in November.
November. What will happen? And let's say that I agreed to send him to the uncle in Missouri. What would happen when he turns 18?
Well, what we would like if he goes to his uncle, we would want to monitor it to make sure he's going to be able to meet his needs too for a few months. And then we would like to give him custody, which is what he wants. He wants PMC of Elijah, and it would not change any of his benefits that he would get through the PAL program. If his uncle, if PMC is transferred to his uncle, he would still get his college tuition waiver and things like that if he chose to go to college.
Or perhaps trade school or something like that.
Correct. It just has to be in Texas. Like he would have to go to a college in Texas.
Okay. Mr. Alverson?
Your Honor, I think this is a good development that we've got. I think we need, I know they were trying to schedule a virtual walkthrough. I didn't see anything on that, so I'm assuming that's not taken place yet. And then we were kind of scrambling to get the criminal stuff together. So I think this is a much better option than the alternative that's being proposed. And I always like to see kids go with family if possible. So I think this is a good development. I think we just need to track it for a little bit and see what happens, and then come back down the road and maybe see about doing some kind of placement with the uncle and see how that goes. I know there's probably a lot of paperwork going from state to state, but whatever we need to do, get that ready to go, and then hopefully be able to give custody to the uncle.
Casa?
Your Honor, I'm in agreement with the attorney Latham in the department too. I've not spoke with Mr. Smith, like Mr. Albertson said that, you know, we were trying to work on that. So I would like to do a virtual visit, at least meet who he is and see the home before I fully recommend it. But I do know that Elijah's wishes are to be with family, and it seems like this might be the best option for him.
Well, I agree. If there's no impediment to his uncle taking him, how long will it take to get a better understanding of that?
I spoke with the uncle yesterday, asking him if we could set up a virtual home visit for Casa and I to take a virtual tour of his home. And he was going to have his son come over to his home this weekend. And he said he needed someone to show him how to do that. So we are working on doing a video chat, hopefully in the next few days, where we can take a virtual tour of the home.
Okay.
So Judge, if the ad litem is able to also participate in that, and CASA, and they agree with the home and think it's appropriate, would the court be in agreement with the directed placement?
Yes, I would. I would prefer, basically my position is almost anything other than a safe environment is preferable to the child basically not having a place to go and being raised in an office. So I think we have pretty sketchy information on the uncle. It does bother me that he has sounds like a fairly recent criminal history. You said in January, I guess, of 2020 or 2021.
21. Yes,
It was
sir.
for
It's,
driving without a license.
yes, sir.
Okay. Well, we're not going to have to make it sounds like we don't have to make an actual decision until September. Is that correct?
We don't have to make a final decision until then. We were hoping to make one prior to that date so that we could have him there, move him there, get him situated, kind of monitor the situation and make sure it's going to be safe for Elijah and that he's happy there so that we could do PMC to the uncle prior to September.
Let's do it this way. Let's ask Ms. Black, see if she can set up a virtual conference on Zoom or some other way of doing it with the attorney ad litem and with CASA. And perhaps, if possible, include a virtual walkthrough or whatever can be done. Give CASA and the attorney ad litem some more information. I would ask the department's attorney to perhaps get some more information on his criminal background in Missouri, exactly what that is, how serious is it? Is it? I know in Texas that would be a misdemeanor.
Right.
So is there something in his criminal background that we're not knowing about or understanding? And let's reset it for next month. And Ms. Hill, while we're talking about dates, I think the 2nd of July does not sound like a good date for anybody. Is the next available Friday, which would be what?
My birthday.
Your birthday?
Yes. But that's okay because the next week I'm going to be on vacation.
Okay. What about, do you have court elsewhere, Ms. Hill, on the 9th?
For July?
Yeah,
No, sir.
okay. Let's move it to the 9th.
Okay.
I think that's gonna work out better because there'll be people out of pocket. I would anticipate on the Friday before.
Are we resetting this one for June the 11th though?
Yeah, the next available date, if it's
Okay.
June 11th, it'd be,
I thought it was June 4th.
I'm not sure which date it is.
Yeah, it's June 4th.
June 4th, okay.
Okay, so for the order, Your Honor, the CASA ad litem and Jill will do a virtual visit. Courtney will research the specific charge in Missouri and we'll come back on June 4th.
Revisit, and of course, he'll stay in permanent managing servitorship of the department at this time. And his current placement, of course, is approved until some other arrangement hopefully can be made. Anything else from anyone in this case?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Let me find that. Do we have Gilmer online yet, or do we know?
They said it would be about 15 minutes, and that was just a few minutes ago, I believe.
Okay, well, we'll give him some more time.
Courtney, you might want to do, if you wanted to do the emergency removal, so Invest can get out of the waiting room.
Okay.
That's the only one they have.
Is that the last case on the docket, as I recall?
The Starnes case.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
and that would be Michaela Hayes, Rosalind Arnick, and probably Jessica Hari.
Michaela Hayes. Rosalind,
Arnick,
I think it's ARNICR. Is that going to be it?
yes, yes.
And who was the
Yes.
third person?
And then Rosalind's supervisor is Jessica Hari.
Let's see. Yeah, there she is. Believe we have them online. I don't think, is Mrs. Hari, are you connected?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Okay.
Okay.
Just wanna
And I'm
make
trying to get the camera to work.
All right.
There we go. Oh, maybe. We're back.
There you go. Okay, for the record, this is cause number CCL 21C 194. And that is in the interest of Brielle Starnes. Let me ask for appearances from counsel and other parties in the case.
And Judge Christine Starnes' mom, I don't suspect she'll be on this call. She's currently in the hospital, but I guess it's a possibility they've called in. I don't know.
Let me see. I fortunately have names for most. There's a OnePlus NORD, an iPhone. Does anyone know who that would be? Those are the only two non-named parties.
I do not.
Her name is
Christine Starnes.
Christine Starnes. Let me look again.
Would
Let's
you
go
like
ahead
for
and
Rosalind to reach out?
I was going to identify these two. And ask you guys to put a name with it. First one is OnePlus NORD. Let's see who that is. Yes, can you tell me who you are, the person that just joined? You are muted. I can't hear you. Tell me again. No, you're still muted. Y'all know who that is? Anybody? No?
Unmute. Okay, I'm in.
What's your name, ma'am?
Brittany.
Brittany
Scott.
Scott? Okay,
Yes.
you're in the Andrews case.
Yes.
Okay, we haven't gotten to that yet. I will be coming back to it, okay?
Okay.
I just needed to know who you were because your name does not appear. I'm gonna
Okay, it's Brittany Scott and Charles Andrew.
Okay, I'm gonna put you back in the waiting room for now, but don't go away, okay?
Okay.
All right. And then we had an iPhone. Let's see who that is. think those are the only two that aren't actually recognizable by name. Okay, the person on the iPhone, can you tell me who you are, please? Person that just joined? Person on the iPhone, can you tell me who you are, please?
Rhiannon Hart.
Okay, very good. Ms. Harp, I'm gonna put you back in the waiting room
Okay.
because I need to see who you were. All it's showing is iPhone.
I got a new phone. That's why, Your Honor.
Okay, don't go away. I'll be getting to you shortly, all right?
All right. I'm not going anywhere.
You can stay in if you want to, just put your phone on mute.
No, I don't want to hear nobody else's conversation. I'm good. I'll just sit in the waiting room.
All right, I'm gonna put you back then. That should be everyone unless she's appearing with someone else. I think I read that Ms. Starnes is in the hospital,
Yes, Your Honor.
Fort Worth, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it's probably unlikely that she's going to be able to appear.
Correct.
So let's go ahead with this case, beginning with identification of parties.
Courtney Shelton, attorney for the department.
Harley Anderson, attorney ad litem.
Patricia Smith with CASA.
All right, Ms. Shelton, you may proceed.
Your Honor, I'd like to take some testimony from Rosalind Arnick.
All right. Ms. Arnick, can I see you? Where are you?
Good morning, Judge.
There she is. Okay. Will you raise your hand and be sworn, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right. You may lower your hand. You may counsel.
Would you state your name, please?
Rosalind Arnick.
And how are you currently employed?
I'm an alternative response investigator with Child Protective Services.
Okay. And are you currently familiar with a case involving Briella K. Starnes?
Yes, Brielle K. Starnes.
How did you become familiar with this case?
While I was on call, we got a call out asking for law enforcement assistance at a traffic stop in Linden, Texas.
And what date was that?
I'm sorry, hold on. Forgive me, my calendars. That was on, I'm so sorry, forgive me.
I'll help you out. Was that April 25th?
It was, yes, thank you.
Okay. All right. And why were they requesting department's assistance?
The officers requested assistance because they said that the mom had been traveling at a high rate of speed and evading the officers' attempt to stop her.
Okay. And why did they need the department's assistance?
She was driving erratically and had the baby in a car seat in the back seat with her.
Okay. Did Ms. Starnes, Christine Starnes, appear to be acting erratically?
Yes, officers stated that she seemed to be out of it and that she was incoherent, and they didn't know if she was under the influence or something, or if she was having a mental episode.
Okay. Did they find any illegal substances in the vehicle?
They did, marijuana.
And was Ms. Starnes incarcerated
Yes.
pursuant to that stop?
Yes, she was.
Did you take the child into your care at that time?
I did.
And did you make contact with family and or some friends of Christine Starnes?
I did.
Who did you talk to?
I spoke with her grandfather, Mr. Pate. who is where she was actually living at the time. And after the fact, I was able to speak with her boyfriend, Mr. Bowman, and also her mother, Deborah Starnes.
Okay. And Mr. Pate, you said that's who she was living with?
Correct.
And who, you said that's her father?
That's her grandfather.
Okay, that's Christine's.
Christine's grandfather. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
so great grandfather of
Of
Brielle.
Brielle. Yes, ma'am.
And where does he reside?
In Linden, Texas.
And what is his current living situation? Was he able to care for the child?
He was not. Mr. Pate is actually disabled and has to have a caregiver. He's
Did
on
he
a
have-
walker.
Did he have concerns for Christine as well?
He didn't really voice any. He seemed to be kind of shocked that this actually had happened.
Okay. What about the boyfriend of Christine Starnes? What was his response to this, or how did he feel like Christine was acting the night that this happened?
He told me that on the night before this incident, that she was acting really weird, is what he referred to it as. He said that she was kind of anxious up and down all night, sending people text messages about the rapture and saying that God was coming back and that they all needed to get to her grandfather's house or else they were all going to die.
Okay. And what did he say she ended up doing?
He told me that she never slept that night, that she would lay down, but she'd be right back up. And finally, at about 5:30 in the morning, she got out of bed and started packing the baby's bag, packed her some things, and told him that they needed to leave and go to her grandfather's house in Linden right away.
And did he try to stop her from leaving?
He did. He said that he tried to talk her out of going, but she wouldn't listen to him. She then put the baby's car seat in the car with the baby in it. He took the baby's car seat out of the car. She would put the car seat back. So he told me that he didn't want to do that tug of war with the baby. So he attempted taking her car keys. He actually did take her car keys. She stood in the front yard at about 5:30, 5:45 in the morning and started screaming, saying that she wasn't safe and that he wouldn't let her leave. So he subsequently gave her keys back because he didn't want, didn't want to get in trouble for detaining her.
Okay. Did he end up calling law enforcement or did she get stopped on her own?
He actually contacted her sister in California. And from what I'm told, the sister contacted law enforcement and told them that she had left his residence at a high rate of speed and that they were concerned about her.
Okay. And then you've also talked to her mother.
I have.
And is she a possible placement for Brielle?
She is. She desperately does want to get Brielle.
And where does she live?
She lives in California.
Okay. So have we requested a home study on her?
We have not as of yet. I was told that it's an ICPC issue, so we would need to have it court ordered.
Okay. As of today, where is Christine located?
Christine is in the hospital in Fort Worth.
And is she in a special unit at the hospital?
I'm not aware of where she is. I know she's on the 8th floor there. I can't tell you if it's a special unit.
Okay, they won't give you any information.
No.
She was served in this case, however?
She was.
Okay. And as far as services, is the department requesting drug testing, psychological counseling, and parenting?
I think those would be appropriate once she is out of the hospital and is stable.
Okay. And obviously requesting temporary managing conservatorship continue for Brielle.
Correct.
And then any visitation for Brielle and Christine?
I believe that would be appropriate as well, once she has proven herself to be stable.
Okay.
Mhm.
And do you believe that's in the best interest of the child?
I do.
I'll pass the witness.
Anderson,
I have no questions, Your Honor.
Casa,
I've not had a chance to go out and visit the child. I did call and check on her this week. She appears to be doing well as far as I know. I do share some of the same concerns as the department, so I'm in agreement with TMC for right now until we can kind of get to the source of what's going on with the mother.
Where is the child placed now?
She's in foster care. That's okay.
Okay. Does anyone have any indication, any evidence whatsoever that this was either just a drug-related incident or was it more of a health-related incident? Does anyone know? No? Okay.
I don't know. Ms. Arnick, have they given you any indication from the hospital whether it was like a psychiatric break or if it's drug related, or did the jail say anything?
I can tell you that the only thing they found her with was marijuana, and her behavior, from what I've understood, is not indicative of just marijuana use. Her mother expressed to me that she felt that maybe she got a hold to something that was laced. Her heart functions and everything were all off, which is why she ended up at John Peter Smith in Fort Worth. They were attempting to take her to California, but they didn't make it because she was really having a medical crisis. So that's how she ended up in the hospital in Fort Worth.
I know she went to the Marion County Jail first, Judge, and then went to the hospital. So I don't know if they, PR'd her out to the hospital or if they had to medically release her I don't know how that happened.
They medically released her to her parents so that they could get medical attention for her because she was not getting any better.
Okay. Okay. Anyone have anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Department is appointed temporary managing conservator of the child. I will order the ICPC study of the relative in California that has indicated a desire to take care of the child. I'd like to get that done at the earliest possible date. I realize ICPC is problematic at times. As far as access to the child by Ms. Starnes, I would like the department to try to determine whether or not Ms. Starnes is capable of visiting from a mental and other health standpoint. I'm not sure how to go about that because of HIPAA regulations. It's going to be difficult to get opinions from her physicians or other healthcare providers. But perhaps CASA could get in touch with Ms. Starnes if there's some type of contact information that can come about, and at least talk to her and see what her position is at this point. See if
Yes, I'll reach out and get some information and do some more digging on it.
See if she's rational and, whether whatever treatment she's receiving has been successful or not, and that type of thing. I'm not sure why was the hospital trying to take her to California? Did I misunderstand that?
I think her family was trying to take her to California.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Well, I will not order any visitation at this time, but I will allow it provided I get a favorable report from the department and from CASA and from Ms. Anderson. That's about the best I can do right now. I'm not trying to prevent the mother from visiting. I just don't know if she's capable of doing so at this point.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else have anything?
No, Your Honor.
That'll be the order in this case. We do need to review it, I would think probably in June.
Yes, sir.
We have to have a 60-day hearing anyway. Let's review it on June 4th. Okay, moving on. Let me see if we have anyone I don't see anyone that would identify from Gilmer. Most of these names I know. There's an N. Taylor. Does anyone know who that is? Ian Taylor.
No, I think maybe, I feel like Upshur County sometimes calls from cell phones.
The only cell phones I've identified, that was the OnePlus Nord and the iPhone.
When they called in for Miss Alvarez that time, didn't it say Taylor?
I feel like they did call on a cell phone.
I think it did say Taylor. I think you're right about that. Let me let her in and let's see. Which case is this?
Williams Doss or
Okay.
Williams Lawson.
Is the microphone and all
I think that is her.
Yeah.
It is
And
too.
and if so, Shelby Hudson should be in the waiting room and she'll need to be brought in too.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll need to let in the Cass County Jail too.
right. Okay, for the record, this is cause number CCL 21C069. This is the Williams Doss matter. And let me let everyone else in. This is Cass County Jail.
Never mind. Okay, thanks.
Who else did you say needed to be in, Ms. Hill?
Shelby Hudson.
What else?
I think that's it.
Okay. Let everyone connect.
Okay, Rebecca, this just says cash jail, but we don't have
Mr. Lawson, will he appear?
He's at the Cass County Jail,
What about Mr. Williams?
also in the jail.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, there we go.
Who did you want first?
Well,
That's a good question.
If you want them both, there'll have to be somebody else in here too.
can we do it separately, Judge?
They both need to be able to hear what's going on.
You're having standing in for both of them.
I guess we can try it, but there's already been a little problem.
Yeah, Judge, this could get bad if we have them both in there at the same time.
Okay, we'll just bring Mr. Williams first.
Okay. Okay. You just sit in that chair.
Okay. All right, let me make sure everyone can hear and see. Ms. Williams, Stephanie Williams Doss, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you are Stephanie Williams Doss, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And Marcus Williams, can you hear and see me? You have to speak out.
Yes, sir, I hear you.
All right. Can you also see me?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
All right. I'm Judge Dowd. I've called this case is cause number CCL 21C069. It's regarding Carly Stephen and Miles Williams, Kylie Doss, Damian Lawson Jr. You are identified as the parent or parents of one or more of these children. I'm required by law to tell each of you, first of all, that you have a right to be represented by an attorney if you are financially unable to hire your own lawyer in connection with this case, and you're not in agreement with the proposal of the department. Secondly, if you're unable or unwilling to furnish your children with a safe home environment, this proceeding could eventually result in a termination of your parental rights. Does everyone understand what I've just told you?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Williams, do you understand?
I'm trying to.
Okay. All right, let me ask for identification of the parties.
Courtney Shelton, attorney for the department.
Paige Blackman, attorney for Ms. Williams.
Cynthia Hammond, attorney for the children.
Patricia Smith with Costa.
All right, Ms. Shelton, you may proceed.
Your Honor, with regard to Marcus Williams, he's currently incarcerated, but it's on, I believe, just some misdemeanor charges. He doesn't have any felony charges pending. When he is released, I am willing to work willing to work services with him. This is the first time he's appeared on this case. His children are currently living with his mother, and they're doing well there. They've started counseling. And so as long as he's not living there though, they're doing great, but I would like him to do drug testing, parenting, counseling, a substance abuse evaluation. What am I missing? What I missed, April? Substance abuse counseling, substance abuse treatment, counseling, parenting, and a psychological evaluation. And then supervised visits only with his children once he's released.
Supervised by his mother?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Williams, did you hear what she's proposing?
I hear.
Are you in agreement or disagreement with that?
I'm leading the field right now. I don't even know what the answer to that. Don't know how to answer that right now. Because I'm trying to live a life of actually maintaining, and every time I'm trying to do something, it's always in a spiritual way, something bringing me down, or someone is, making suggestions, and then I get hit with this. I can't even start my life and try to do right, and I'm already in court and expecting something like this, and I'm supposed to actually agree to something like this. I need to try to get a job like I've been trying to do. I got robbed for my license and my social security card, and it's hard to get it when y'all keep things online now today in the judicial system, as in the law system. It's hard to get online and get my stuff like I want to because I don't have a bank account. Used to go inside and get my license in a building like this or my social security card.
Just a moment. First of all, you need to lower your voice because you're in a room there and you're causing an echo. You're talking so loud. Second, you've never answered my question. My question is, and I need an answer, are you in agreement or disagreement with what they're proposing?
That's what I just asked. I don't understand some things right now. I'm just not getting to this.
What she's wanting you to do is undergo what's called a service plan in order to get your children reunited back with you. She outlined what would be involved in that service plan. It includes things like drug testing and psychological evaluation. Did you not understand that?
I understand that, and I just explained to you, when I get my license, they might give me a job, give me a place, I would love to do that. But I don't have no way to go or anywhere to go right now. I'm basically home to home.
Okay. Are you able to hire a lawyer financially?
No, I just told you, I can't do anything right now.
You want me to appoint you a lawyer?
No, I don't need it.
You don't need a lawyer?
I don't need a lawyer if I'm already being told what I'm agreed to do or disagree to do. I can answer that.
Okay. All right, bring Mr. Lawson in then.
Do you need Mr. Williams anymore, Judge?
I do not.
Okay.
All right, are you Damian Lawson Senior? Okay, Mr. Lawson, I'm Judge Dowd. Can you see me and hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I need to give you a couple of what the law calls admonitions, basically their warnings, and also an explanation of your legal rights in this case. Do you understand the Department of Family and Protective Services has filed a petition asking the court to appoint the department as either permanent or temporary managing conservator of your children at this time? Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You only actually have one child in this case, is that correct?
I have two.
You have two. Who are they?
Daniel Lawson Jr. and Kylie Nicole Lawson.
Kylie is also your child?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, in that regard, first of all, I must tell you that you're not required to agree with any proposal that the department may make. However, the court may order it whether you agree or not. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You're entitled to be represented by a lawyer if you feel you need one. If you're financially found by the court to be financially unable to afford a lawyer, the court could appoint one for you. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to ask Ms. Shelton to make their proposal as far as what they want you to do in this case. I want to listen carefully. And then at the end, I'm going to ask you if you agree or disagree with that. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Shelton.
Your Honor, with regard to both Mr. Lawson and Ms. Doss, we have changed our goal and we're actually going to be moving for termination. We're going to file a motion for aggravated circumstances as to Stephanie and Damian.
Okay. And they're both going to need an attorney.
Mom already has one.
Okay.
You appointed Miss Blackman at the last
Blackman.
hearing for Stephanie, and Damian, this is what Mr. Albertson represents Damian Lawson on his criminal charges.
Okay, Mr. Lawson, they're telling me that they're going to try to ask the court to terminate your parental rights. Do you want me to appoint you an attorney?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you already know Mr. Albertson, do you not?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to appoint Mr. Albertson in this matter as well as the criminal case that you're involved in, okay?
Thank you.
All right. So that's all I need from them. You can take him out. Okay, I'm gonna put the jail back. Mute. All right, Ms. Doss, do you see your attorney, Ms. Blackman? She's on the screen. Do you see her?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna ask her to address the court in your behalf, okay?
Okay.
Go ahead, Ms. Blackman.
Your Honor, I had a very lengthy visit with Miss Williams, and it is not her desire to be terminated. She did express to me that she felt like if it meant staying away from the gentleman that just left us, so that she could keep her kids, she would be willing to do that. I realize also that she, she's incarcerated, but we had a long talk, and I explained to her that sometimes you have to leave people that you don't maybe really want to leave, or you think you don't. And in order to have that relationship with your kids, you need to have. And so there are a lot more details that we talked about as far as how some of these things could have happened. But she's very remorseful about the situation, and really does not want the goal to be termination, does not want to relinquish, and wants to try to do whatever's necessary to have her kids.
Okay. Well, I need to take up the department's motion when it's filed.
Yes, sir.
Aggravated circumstances in order for the court to determine whether or not the department should or should not be required to furnish a family plan for any of the parents in the case. Let's see.
Judge, if we could hold off setting a hearing on that right now, because of I would like to protect the kids from having to testify right now because it does involve sexual abuse, and I've got criminal matters pending against both parents. I'd like to hold off for now as long as I can until the criminal matters, hopefully we can resolve those. If not, then I'll go forward with it, but I'd rather not set that immediately if possible, as long as parents are still incarcerated.
Is there already a appointment of the department in effect in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
That's what I was thinking. Okay.
Now, if the parents are released from jail, then I'll reevaluate that.
Okay, I'm going to continue the department as temporary managing conservator. I assume there's not any visitation or access at the present. Is that correct?
Oh,
Well, the last order for Miss Stephanie is 1 hour a week supervised by the department. Obviously, she can't have that right now, but that is the last order of the court.
What is her charge?
injury to a child and endangering a child.
Okay.
And Your Honor, just in case she is released out on bond at some point, I think we do need to put that the visitation is ceased between her and the children.
I would agree, Your Honor.
Okay.
Of course, I can't agree to that, Your Honor.
I understand. I'm going to require that though, under the circumstances, given the charges and the fact that all of the parents are currently incarcerated. I'm not going to order any access or visitation at this time. Department's continued as temporary managing conservator. And I'll reset the case for the July date. That was, what did we say, the 9th?
Yes, Your Honor.
July 9. And I'll set I'd like to have a hearing on that date as to whether or not there should be a plan offered to any of the parents in the case at that time.
Yes, sir.
Anything else from anyone? Casa? Okay,
I have nothing further to add, Your Honor.
all right. That'll be the order in that case, then the parties are excused. Ms. Taylor, is it Ms. Taylor there in the Gilmer jail? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. This is Officer Branson.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your help, and you may sign us off. You may sign off.
All right, thank you.
Judge, Ms. Hill's pretty good about it, but can I request that all the documents get forwarded to me so I'll have copies of those?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. Who do you want to take next? What about the Jimerson matter?
I'm fine with that, Judge.
CCO 20C412. In the matter of Zyrek and Zedrick Jimerson. I believe Ms. Singleton was online.
She should be in the waiting room, Your Honor.
I'm going to admit her, and I don't believe Mr. Jimerson A is appearing. There's no appearance by Mr. Jimerson Bay. So let's get Ms. Singleton online. There she is. Ms. Singleton, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see us? Can you see everyone?
Yeah, well, I see you.
Okay, very good. All right, appearances.
Courtney Shelton, attorney for the department.
Gary Albertson, attorney for the children.
Harley Anderson, attorney for the mother, Danielle Singleton.
Patricia Smith with CASA.
All right, Ms. Shelton, you may proceed.
Your Honor, I believe you've been provided some records in this case. Did you want any further testimony, or was that sufficient?
I'll place on the record, the court on its own motion requested treatment records from, I think the
Safety.
company is called Safety out of Mount Pleasant, Texas, which is a apparently a nonprofit corporation set up to help family violence victims. And I thought those records would be relevant. I issued an order requiring they be delivered to the court for an in-camera inspection, which has now been completed by the court. Also in that ordered the documents sealed until further action by the court, if any. I'm making, for the record, I'm making those records part of the court's file, and in this case, however, the records are ordered sealed by the court. The court takes notice of the contents of the records, which include a business records affidavit, and for purposes of making further orders in this case, the court takes notice of the contents of those records.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Singleton is still doing great. She's still participating in counseling through the safety program and the parenting, and she's progressing through the program, is my understanding. At this time, we're not quite ready for a full monitored return, but we are going to request some unsupervised visits up to 6 hours a weekend. just to give Aunt some time to get some shopping done and do things by herself, to give her some alone time, and it'll give Miss Singleton some time to spend with her kids by herself, and just be able to kind of reestablish that relationship on her own again, and let her know that we are working towards reunification, and trusting her. So other than that, I think she's doing a good job, and obviously just request that Mr. Jimerson still have no contact.
Ms. Anderson.
Your Honor, my client is in agreement with that.
Mr. Albertson.
Your Honor, I'm in agreement with that. Most of the concerns that I'm hearing from phone calls and reports is that Mr. Jimerson is not respecting what the court has thrown out there. There's been incidents where he showed up at her work. I think she's had to switch jobs. He's followed her to a Walmart. He's doing just about everything he can to continue to try to me, it appears, intimidate Miss Singleton and keep her kind of doing what he wants her to do. So that's my only fear in this. You know, if she is by herself with these kids and he comes along, that's the only concern I have. But I understand at some point we've got to let her do this. But she, you know, I think she needs to understand that she's going to have to take whatever precautions are necessary, because he's not going to follow whatever we tell him to do, and has shown a history of not following what we've told him to do. He doesn't appear in court, but he does continue to try to track her down. And once we took away the fact that he couldn't see the kids at the same time she did, he's just stopped. So that's my concern in this case. Nothing against Mom. It's just that Mr. Jimerson is going to do everything he can to continue to try to be a presence whenever he feels like she's alone or she's by herself, or that he can get there. So that's my only concern with this, but I'm in agreement with her having some unsupervised.
Okay. Awesome.
Your Honor, my advocate's in agreement as well. She just wants to encourage the mother to continue with her domestic violence classes.
Okay. I assume Ms. Singleton's aware of the process and the option of applying for a protective order if that becomes necessary.
Yes.
Okay. All right, the court will continue the department as temporary conservator. Ms. Singleton's access to the children is expanded to 6 hours per week unsupervised. Mr. Jimerson, also known as Bay, will continue to have no access to or visitation with children until such time as he follows the court's orders. Next review date.
And Judge, I just wanted to ask, maybe Miss Anderson knows, or maybe Miss Singleton does. I assume that if Miss Singleton requested a protective order, safety would assist her in pursuing that.
I think they will, Ms. Shelton and Your Honor, and if they won't, I can help her with that.
Okay. Next review date. I don't really think we need one until July, Judge.
Okay. July 9.
Yes, sir.
All right. Anything else from anyone? That'll be the order in this case. Ms. Singleton, you may sign off.
Thank you.
Next case is CCL 20C421, the interest of a child regarding Asian Rollins.
Judge, that's a termination hearing, so that one might be a little bit.
Okay, let's take a different one first. Then. What about the heart matter?
That'll be a quick one.
CCL 20C415. The Harp children. And I believe Miss Harp was present, was she not, or was she?
Yes, sir. She was the iPhone.
That's what I thought. I heard. Ms. Harp, can you see and hear us okay?
Yes, sir.
Very good. I can see you and hear you just fine. I've just called this case. And so I'll ask for identification from the attorney.
Courtney Shelton, attorney for the department.
Gary Albert, attorney ad litem for the children.
Paige Blackman, attorney for Ms. Harp.
All right.
Patricia Smith with CASA.
May I proceed, Ms. Shelton?
Your Honor, at this time, we're just requesting status quo. Mom has gone to Community Health Corps and done her intake. She's been doing her parent-child visits. She's been drug testing. The only issue we've had is the parent-child visits. She's got some anxiety with driving, and so she requested that those visits be done virtually until she can get her medication situated and feels more comfortable driving because the visits were being done in Longview. So we're accommodating the virtual visits for now. I think they've talked about doing them 2 times a week for 1 hour each time. That's right, Jill, correct? Because the kids get antsy during the visits. So it's easier to just do them for 1 hour twice a week. But other than that, we're just recommending status quo.
Have they already started those visits or?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Ms. Blackman?
Yes, I would like to address the issue with driving. I think what Ms. Harp, she does have anxiety issues and she's trying to make sure that she's on the right medications for that. I think you'll remember that last time I recommended that she get with somebody and get all her medication coordinated well, so that she's not on anything she doesn't need to be or anything that might conflict with something else. Ms. Harp is very comfortable driving in areas that she's familiar with, which is all of her area just, around her. But if she's not really used to a place, I think maybe the placement here is in Longview. Is that right, Jill? Okay. And so she's just not very familiar with that area. And so I think she had asked maybe until summer that the visits continue to be virtual. And during the summertime, she feels like we can do the in-person visits. And so I would like to make sure that I ask now early that at that time she get to see them more than she's seeing them now. Because she really is trying to work with CPS and do all the things that she's supposed to do. And I've had 2 very long visits with her, and I am convinced that she is willing to do whatever's necessary to get her children back.
Okay. Mr. Alverson?
Agreed, Your Honor.
Costa?
My advocate's in agreement. I just want to say that Ms. Harp is trying and we're very pleased with her progress and want to continue to encourage her to do what she needs to get her children back.
Okay. Ms. Harp, that's excellent news. I'm glad to hear it. Are you doing
Thank you,
okay?
Your Honor.
Are you doing okay yourself?
Yes, Your Honor. I actually feel a lot better.
Okay, good. All right, we'll continue the status quo, basically proceed with virtual visits I think you're proposing 2 times a week at 1 hour. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Until such time as Ms. Harp feels comfortable driving, and then we'll take another look at the visitation at that point. And we need a review date.
We had said July. I don't know why we couldn't review it in June. Add it to the June docket.
June will be summer.
Yeah, I'd
Well,
say
that's
let's
what
do
I
it.
was thinking.
I'd say let's do it in June.
June 9th.
June
Fourth.
4th.
No, we moved it to the, oh, okay, that's right, June 4, you're right. Okay. All right, Ms. Hart, keep up the good work, okay?
I will, sir. Thank you.
Very good. Anything else in this case?
No, Your Honor.
If
No,
not,
Your
Ms.
Honor.
Harp, Ms. Harp, you're excused.
Thank you.
Judge, I believe that's all I have this morning. May I also be excused?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Y'all have a good weekend.
You
Okay.
too.
Do.
Just so you know, the June docket is getting very big.
Okay. I look forward to June because there's no ice and snow. I'm not really a cold weather person. Who have we not called yet? Don't want to do the wrongs.
Haley Wyatt.
Wyatt, CCL HC 541. Regarding Haley Wyatt. And I'm not showing a parental involvement
No, Your Honor.
in termination. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Let me ask for appearances.
Courtney Shelton, attorney for the department.
Cyndia Hammond, attorney for the child.
Patricia Smith, Wacasa.
Okay, may proceed.
Your Honor, Haley is in her RTC. She actually moved to a new one because she finished all her therapeutic goals at her old one. We had an aunt in New Mexico, or have an aunt in New Mexico that wants Haley, but Haley does not want to go there for whatever reason. Haley mentioned another lady, but Ms. Hudson reached out to this woman, and without getting into lots of details, that is not going to be a suitable placement for multiple reasons. So at this time, we're just recommending status quo. We're waiting on the aunt in New Mexico to get her FBI background checks, and we can reevaluate that later. But other than that, we're just recommending status quo, Your Honor.
Ms. Hammond?
Your Honor, my client, she definitely has opinions in this case. The problem is they change almost daily. I do think it would be good at maybe the next hearing if she can appear virtually, and maybe even have a conversation with you. The difficulty I'm having in representing her is that her opinions change so frequently that it is really hard to figure out what to tell you that she wants. One thing that is clear that she wants is to be out of care as soon as she possibly can. However, as soon as we get close to finding someone that would allow her to do that, she usually sabotages it by providing information that may or may not be true, or just choosing someone that's just not appropriate. And so right now, our encouragement to her is, of course, to continue to cooperate. She is continuing to cooperate in her therapy. She does have very frequent contact with the CASA volunteer that is on the case. And even with Ms. Hudson, she has my phone number. She does not reach out to me, but she does complain about the fact that she's not talking to me enough. And so, you know, at this point, I think status quo is where we are at. She turns 18 in March of next year. And so we really have just a few more months in this one to try to figure out a permanent situation for her. And I think that at this point, she's progressing very well therapeutically. We just don't have the permanent placement for her yet.
Do you know anything about the New Mexico situation?
I know that depending on the day of the week, she is in favor of it. And then when she's not in favor of it, she says some things that are pretty concerning that make me feel like she would sabotage that placement if that was where we tried to force her to go against her will. It would definitely have to be something that she is buying into for it to work. And I don't know if this week she is in favor of it. I know last week she was, the week before she wasn't. I mean, we go back and forth on it so often. I think that her biggest concern is that it's so far away from what she knows.
Where is she placed now geographically?
I know the previous one was in San Antonio, and I'm trying to remember this one
It's
is
in
in
Canyon
that
Lake.
area.
Canyon Lake.
Where it's at?
South of Austin, right, Shelby?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Well, Casa, anything?
Nothing really to add other than that we'll continue to explore leads as well. I was under the impression that the aunt in New Mexico was off the table, but I'm glad to hear that she is still considering it. So we'll reach back out and kind of do some more research on that one. But I do agree with Cynthia. She kind of hops back and forth, so it's kind of hard to figure out where she really wants to be. So, but I have nothing further to add.
Okay. Well, I have no objection to her appearing on Zoom if that can be arranged. You'd have to, I suppose, arrange it through the RTC, wherever she is. But certainly, I would be more than willing to talk to her if you think it would be helpful.
Your Honor, I spoke with her this morning, and I actually think she's in the waiting room today because she acted like she was
Really?
wanting to talk to you today. Yes, sir.
Okay, well, let me see. There she is. Okay, yeah, very good.
There's no video to start.
Haley Wyatt, can you hear and see me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm Judge Dowd. Can you or whoever's helping you turn on your video, your camera?
We're trying. It's not really wanting to cooperate, but we're trying. Yes, sir. 1 second.
This computer doesn't have a video setting. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, here, found it. Okay, perfect.
There you go. There she is.
Got it.
Hello, Haley. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very well. I'm Judge Dowd. I'm judge over your case.
Yes, sir.
And can you see everyone else? That's
Yes, sir.
okay. I understand you wanted to talk to me. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm sure here to listen. Go right ahead.
I want to say before, I have a tick that actually I have to go to the neurologist soon about. So if I stop in mid-sentence, I apologize.
That's quite all right.
So I went ahead and just wrote it down just because it's my first time in court. So I knew I was gonna get nervous.
Okay.
I would like to try to get emancipated. And then I'm just gonna read it. It says, so I would like to try to get emancipated because I would like to decide where I can live and where I can be, so I can be somewhere where I feel safe, even if my legal team doesn't agree. And as of my understanding, as of Texas Family Code 153.009 states, as of age 12 and up, a child can decide where they want to live or which parent they could live with. But since I am a ward of the state, it wouldn't be a parent situation. So I would like to be able to become my own legal guardian. And I know most of the time judges will ask about schooling. And as of my schooling this year, I am a junior in high school. And as of right now, I have 17.5 credits, but this year ends in a few weeks. And whenever it ends, I will have 20 credits exactly. I want to, and I've already talked to my caseworker and everything about it. I want to try to graduate with 22 credits. And one thing that's good about this placement is they have a summer school thing where kids if they need to redo credits or if they want to get ahead, they let them. And so I talked to the principal and he said if I really buckled down and really worked hard and really wanted it enough, I could get those 2 credits in the summer school before it was my time to leave. So I would be able to have my high school diploma and would be able to, and if you were to allow me to get emancipated, I would be able to not just get a job, but get a better one because I have my high school diploma, because a lot of good jobs ask for it. And also another thing is because I know if you get emancipated, you have to be able to take care of yourself legally with financial, living, medical, all of that. I have a family friend. Well, he's been in my life since I was first able to walk. So I actually call him my uncle. I talked to him a few weeks ago because I was telling him he's one, since my grandmother passed, I have gone to and asked because he knows a lot about this system and stuff. And so I asked him, well, if you get emancipated, what would they ask? And he told me, no, y'all expect the job and all of this. And before I came in care, I was actually working for him. I was dog sitting and house sitting. and getting $5 up to $10 an hour. It wasn't a lot, but for being 15, it was good money. So he told me that like when I age out of care, or if I was to get emancipated, he would let me like get my job back with him and sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Just take your time.
He has a trailer on his land.
What's his name?
Joe Daniels. He said I could live in it, but if the court thinks it would be better for me to like rent it and learn like the renting system, he said he's willing to do that too. But and then because I don't have my driver's license yet, he said if all of this was to go into place, he has a vehicle he would allow me to use, but I have to get my driver's license first because of course he wants everything to be legal. And that way, if like once I settle down, like if I was a move in or whatever, settle down and I want a different job, I would have transportation to and from work or anywhere else I needed to go. So therefore I would have the transportation I need, a job, a house, food, water, electricity, and everything I need. And also another thing would be like if I needed help with something, whether it was like for weather dangers, fires, or anything like that, or even if it was like just my anxiety getting high and I'm needing someone like really trustworthy to talk to and just help me get through it so I'm not alone through it all, I would have someone like right across the grass. And then I'm pretty sure, as you know, I have a history of suicidal attempts and self-harming in my past, but there is a key word in that, which is my past. I would like to leave my past in the past and go towards my present and my future. Because hey, every day above ground is present, so I call it a present. But in my future, I want to be able to. I have like 13 siblings. Not all blood, but I want to be able to watch them all grow up. And I just want to be able to be there for them. Actually, one of my little sisters we're going through some things, and usually, I'm big sister. I'm always there for her to like talk her through it and help her. And she self-harmed. And when they asked her why, when they asked her why she didn't talk to someone, she said, because the only person I feel comfortable like talking to about it that won't judge me, because my family's a little judgmental, she says, and my sister, and she's not here. So I want to just be able to, like, you know, be the big sister that I need to be, responsible, and be able to be there for my siblings when they need someone like that. Because no kid should have to go through that. They shouldn't feel alone and feel the need for that. And I think one of the reasons she's always came to me about it is because she knows I've been through that past and I've done those same things. So she knows she's not alone, and she knows I won't judge her because I don't have any room to judge. I love my family with everything I have. They're my number one purpose for reason is because I got babies watching me, and I need to be a good example like I should have been. But for my future, I want to just be able to watch them grow up and be there for them. And even not just that, but be able to succeed in my own hopes, goals, and dreams for life. Like, ever since I was like 5 or 6, I always told my dad, I want to go and I want to like fight for my country. I want to go into the army and stuff, and just, you know, like I like shooting guns. So that's another thing is I've just always, I don't know what it is. I've just always like had the military in mind. So I want to be able to like graduate high school and then go into the military and become either go into mechanized infantry or become a offensive attorney and be in the JAG. Put my arguing skills in good use. Or if I don't, I've decided like, if I don't like that field, I want to become a forensic science technician and go to college for that, and just, you know, but I want to be able to grow old. I want to be able to, like, I want to be able to have kids and watch my mom play with her grandkids and just be an old kid herself. And just be able to spend time together like as a family should. I just want to be able to grow old and just enjoy life and all the beauties it gives.
Anything else, Haley?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
You understand after you turn 18, you pretty much will be emancipated by law. In other words, you will automatically become emancipated. Let me ask you a question. Are you unhappy where you are?
Yes, sir, and no, sir. I say no because I've only been in care, you know, since November, but since November, I've already lost 3 really close people. To me, and my grandfather, one of my closest people to me, I found that isn't doing so well. And he probably won't make it till I'm 18. So I would like to, even if it's a 4 to 6 month process, I'd like to be able to do it so I can spend time with him before I have to go to a Craven. If that's,
Let me ask you this, if you were emancipated before you're 18, where would you go? Where would you live?
I would either take up Uncle Joe's offer and take that job and the trailer, because even then 15 minutes down the road, I don't know if you know anywhere in East Texas, there's Longview, Texas. And it's a pretty big city. So I'd be able to, once I got settled and got my driver's license, that's one of the first things I want to do is when I get emancipated is get my driver's license so I can go get like a really, really good job. And so I can start saving up money until I can buy my own apartment or duplex or whatever it may be. But I mean, I just want to go somewhere where I know I'm going to feel safe. I have support all around me. And I know like there's not going to be any like harsh drugs or nothing like near me.
Do you feel safe now?
Yes, sir. And no, sir. Yes,
No
sir.
one,
Because
is anyone mistreating you there?
No, sir.
Okay. You said where you feel safe. Why don't you feel safe there?
I don't know. It's just something about me. I feel, and I don't know what it is. I just always feel safe when I have family by my side and around me, sir.
Okay.
Family's always been my strong point.
Well, Haley, thank you for talking to me. I appreciate it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now Ms. Hammond is there and she's going to continue to represent you in this case. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. And she will tell me what you want. In each case, we will review this from time to time and take whatever is in your best interest. Because
Yes,
what
sir.
I want to do is do whatever is good for you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
If you want to talk to me again, Miss Hammonds will arrange that and we'll talk again. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Very good.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else in this case? Anyone? What's the review date?
PMC review is August 6th, Judge.
Ms. Hammond, you want to review it before then?
Your Honor, I think if we reviewed it on August 6th, that would give her time to be able to update us on her progress with her high school recovery credits that she is intending to do this summer. And it would also give us time to look into this place that she has mentioned as a potential place that she could go so that we could deem whether or not it is safe and come to the court with a plan.
That's the uncle you're talking about?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. We'll review it on August 6th then, Haley, and I'll probably talk to you again on that date. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. You may sign off, or the folks that are with you may sign off. Good luck to you. Okay.
Sir, you too. Thank you.
Your Honor.
You keep up the good work on your high school work. Okay.
Yes, sir. I'm really,
It's really important.
really trying because right now, as I know, I have 6 A's and 2 B's.
Very good.
As a junior, and I haven't done that good since like 2nd grade.
Really important that you get your high school degree, okay? Because you can't do hardly
Oh,
anything.
yeah, so that's the number 1 on my list.
Very good.
I want to be able to graduate high school so I can have a future for myself.
I'm glad to hear it. All right. I'll talk to you again.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. August 6th. Who's next?
Arwood.
I believe they're in the waiting room. It's CCL 21C070 regarding Alexandria and our Ariana Arwood. You let the Arwoods in.
Your Honor, I do have an advocate on this case. Her name is Judy Cook, and I believe that she's in the waiting room.
She is for a fact. Okay, let's see if everyone is joining. Judy, are you there? Can you hear us? Judy Cook? I think she's muted.
Yes, I'm here.
Very good. Can you turn your camera on for us?
Yes, I can.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
There she is. And the Arwoods are still trying to connect.
I can hear everybody. This is Athena Arwood. I can hear everybody, but my video isn't working. I can see everyone. Can y'all see me?
We cannot.
Okay, let me. Let me go over here closer to my box.
There's another, actually you're on there twice.
Yes, Scott's got our other, my other phone, so he's going to be joining from it. Let me shoot him a call real quick to let him know he was operating his machine while we were waiting. So just a second.
This says he's trying to connect. I think he's already trying to connect.
I sent him a message to let him know how to do it. So hopefully he'll figure it out. There we go.
There you are. He's not there with you?
He's at work.
Okay.
And I'm at the house. I'm trying to get his attention. I tried to messenger call him, so hopefully he will hear that or feel it, and he'll be able to get on. Hi, Miss Judy.
Hello.
How are you?
Doing great. How are you doing?
Good. I'm good. It's nice today. It's a beautiful day.
It's still showing that he's connecting, but it's not connecting.
Okay. Yeah, I'm showing that he's active on Messenger too. Let me see if he may not know how to do it. Let me try to call him on Messenger, and we'll see if he'll answer, and I'll try to direct him. He hung up on me.
He may just not have good enough service.
I'm not sure. I think he might. I think I just got his attention. He answered it and hung it right up. So maybe he'll jump on now.
Oh, he's on. It just won't connect.
Right, correct.
Well, he's been in the waiting room. We were both in the waiting room for a while, so I think that's why it said he was on. He had the phone sitting there waiting in the waiting room.
Yeah, it's just not connecting.
Well, we can start whenever if y'all want to do that. That's up to y'all.
Looks like he might be connecting now. Just went off. Mr. Harwood, can you hear me, sir?
It still doesn't show him having microphone access.
He needs to know to push them buttons at the bottom. Let me shoot a message to him.
Your Honor, I'm hearing a lot of background noise from somewhere.
I'm going to mute mine.
There he is. I see him now.
Yeah. Okay. This is CCL 21C070 in the Arwood matter. Appearances.
Courtney Shelton, attorney for the department.
Brenda Lee, attorney for the parents.
And
Judy Cook Casa.
And
Paige,
Ms. Blackman, you're the ad litem.
you're muted.
You're still muted.
I'm the attorney for the children, Your Honor.
Okay, very good.
Sorry.
May proceed, Ms. Sheldon.
Your Honor, I wish I had more to update you on. Unfortunately, they did go over the service plan finally with Ms. Hudson on April the 27th and signed the service plan, which enabled us to get their EdCATA evaluation to send the EdCATA form over so they could get that evaluation set up, but they have not completed the EdCATA yet. Their psych evaluations have been set for May the 28th. Both parents have been sent to drug test April the 14th, April the 22nd, and April the 30th, and they did not go any of those times. So at this point, we can't tell the court whether they're still using methamphetamines or not. We gave them a very liberal visitation schedule in the beginning, so I have some concerns that they are still using methamphetamines. At this point, the department's requesting that their visits be reduced to weekends only, 2 hours on Saturday and 2 hours per Sunday supervised until the parents start drug testing.
Okay, Mr. Lee.
Yeah, I've had a little trouble contacting them. I've attempted to call both parties. I don't really know their explanation, but we did have the hearing before, and it was obvious there has been a long-term drug usage problem that it's not going to be cured overnight. So they need a little time to address that. And obviously I think it's the grandmother or somebody is supervising or with them on the visitation. So they're not going to be any harm to the children if they are using. We'd request a status quo.
Can you tell me, Mr. Lee, why your clients are not drug testing?
No, I cannot.
Do you have any objection to me asking them that at this time?
I have no objections, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Arwood, why aren't y'all going to test like you've been ordered to do?
Okay, when we had our last hearing, we had informed the court that we had found a place to move into April 1st. We paid $2,050 to someone. It was a scam. So we were out that money. We had been staying in a hotel in Texarkana there. Scott's going to work, coming to the hotel, picking me up. We get to go see the kids for an hour, coming back. We finally were able to find another place. And the third time that we were requested for a drug test, we were actually signing lease papers. Scott only gets an hour for lunch. He's having to come pick me up beforehand. The second and first time, she gave us a less than 2 hour notice. The second time, less than 3 hour notice. Scott could not get off of work long enough to be able to go do that, where he has to go pick me up first and then us go to the place. It's a little wait there. It was just impossible for us on such short notice to be able to get him off work for that amount of time.
Where is he working?
He works at JCM.
Where is that located?
It is, Scott, I think it's considered Nash.
Texarkana area?
Yes, sir.
Where were you asked to test? Weren't you asked to test in Texarkana?
Yes, sir. We were, but Scott's having to leave work. He was having to go pick me up from the hotel, then go. Every single visit that we've had drug testing, sir, has been an hour long, just sitting there waiting, and that's not even including the testing time. So with him only having an hour, with the traveling back and forth, all that, now we are in a position at this home. I'm close to him at work, and we are not very far from the facility, so it's doable now.
That was my next question. My next question was going to be, how are you going to? We can't move forward in this case without you guys.
I completely understand. I totally understand, sir, and it will not be an issue from now forward. Scott's 5 minutes away right now from me. We live 5 minutes from his employment, and the doctor's office that she referred us to before is about 10 minutes. So time-wise, we should be able to work it in. My mother also has said that if needed be, she could leave work and take me as well.
Ms. Blackman?
Well, I'm not really impressed with all those excuses. When we have CPS court and other cases, other people don't get to make those kind of excuses and get away with it. I believe that with a long history here, both before we went into court mode and since, I just think that if they cared enough about meeting the elements of the service plan, they would be making a better effort to do the testing. And frankly, I think 2 hours, 3 hours notice in this particular case, they need to be on a short leash and on a short notice time frame because of the history. They don't need to have time to go use a kit or something else to try to clean
Miss
up.
Blackman, did it not? You haven't even been.
No, we're not going to argue back and forth.
No, sir. I don't intend to argue. I just was.
Well, you are arguing. Just be quiet. Let her finish.
Your Honor, aside from the drug testing, that is what it is. You've heard that. I'm also troubled. You'll recall when we were here, probably, I guess it's been 2 months ago now, the kids on my first visit with them, and I just saw them again. Well, I saw Alex yesterday and her grandfather. I made a surprise visit. But on the first visit, I visited privately with both girls. They asked me to please get them some counseling, and I made them a promise that I would. And that counseling, well, it's still not happening on a weekly basis. There have been a lot of excuses on that as well. Some from the grandparents. The grandparents, everybody was supposed to go to counseling, as I understood it. Grandparents haven't been, parents haven't been, girls have been one time to sign up, do all the paperwork with Kelly Jocelyn, and another time to have a first session. That's in 2 months' time. And when I visited with Alex yesterday, she had some private things she wanted to discuss with me that, quite frankly, I did my best, but they're the kind of things that are much better discussed with a professional, with a counselor. And I think if she had one to talk to about those kinds of things, it would be great for her, because she did have some things on her mind that were troubling her. And I think maybe Anna does too, because we talked a little about Anna. So I guess I'm very underwhelmed with the speed or the lack of speed that everybody's gotten in gear here. I just feel like nobody's taken this seriously. There is a time limit on these cases. The parents don't seem to be serious. I hear lots and lots of excuses here today. And I think the children are very aware now of who's making excuses and things like that. There has been improvement in the structure. I know that's something we talked about, so I want to address that briefly. They are both in school. I think Alex hates it, but she is in school. She has an interest in art that she wants to pursue, and I don't know that's available for her at that school. But the grandfather tells me they are going. The structure in the home is a little bit better. Her room was a little tidier, but still, there needs to be some structure at home too about keeping things clean. And Alex and I talked about that. This is just it's an instance, it appears to me, when you look at the whole picture, where mom probably, the grandmother, Miss Gebhardt, probably let Athena do whatever she wanted to. Now Athena and her husband are letting the girls just, until recently, do whatever they wanted to. And now we're having trouble with these absolutely brilliant young ladies, getting them, into a structured pattern and also making them happy. I just, it would be such a waste if we can't get these kids back into a really good routine where they can realize their full potential as they go through school and on to higher education. They're both just very gifted and very smart. So I do think they desperately need weekly counseling. And I know Miss Jocelyn did not have that availability, but I guess in my mind, when you're told you need to get busy and get the counseling immediately, which is, I may not be using your exact words, but that was my takeaway from the last time we discussed this, when you ordered the counseling. If I'm ordered to go get counseling for someone, I'm thinking, well, if I can't get in with that one, then I need to ask for another one. Because I really think the girls have been suffering during this time, trying to adjust to everything with no counselor. So theoretically, I believe they go this week, but I'm never sure what's really going to happen and what's not.
Casa?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Okay. I've met with the family and the two daughters several times now the past month, and just made some, I guess I've noticed some things that could be addressed if every party would agree to the counseling that was recommended by the courts. I think Athena and Scott, they have issues, but they have challenges that could probably be addressed if they would sit down together with some type of a counselor. They both have very different types of personalities, and so it's difficult for them to sometimes address all the problems they have. And so that would be a huge benefit to them if they would do that, because I think probably they mean well, but when you have such gifted children as they have, and I noticed like the evening I was with them, they all talk at the same time. And so the structure isn't there for them to really listen to one another. They just talk and talk over each other. And so I think if they develop the skills that were necessary to sit down and have a conversation and learn to listen as well as to talk, that would be a huge benefit to all of us.
We're losing
And
you.
then Mrs. Gephardt and through counseling. So counseling is going to be beneficial to all of them if they could do that. Now, Mrs. Gephardt is addressing some of the issues that the children have, such as anger, and she has ordered books and she's trying to go online to get some therapy. But like it was mentioned, it's difficult to get counseling on a weekly basis right now, but they can do more on their own if they're structured right. So until that happens, they need to be looking at that. So I think they want to, but I just don't think they know how sometimes, and that's where counseling actually comes in.
Your Honor, I do have one more thing I forgot to address.
Okay.
Alex has, the problem with her feet. And she expressed to me yesterday, it is the subject of some, kids can be mean, and she gets made fun of. And one foot is worse than the other. And now the other foot is becoming worse. The one that was better is becoming worse. So that physical issue, I know we've been talking a lot about counseling, but the physical issues with Alex need to be addressed. They should have been addressed a long time ago, and she really needs help with that now.
Is she not getting any help?
Not that I know of, no. I mean, if she is, nobody's told me. She needs to, it's a condition that would have to be surgically corrected. And besides the fact that it hurts to walk on her feet like that, it is the subject of, like I said, meanness, where kids make fun of her at school. And I just really hate that for her. It's something that I think she's had since, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, since birth, and her parents haven't done anything about it.
That is not true. She has had it since birth. She was born with one club foot. She's had multiple surgeries, Miss Blackman. She wasn't due for another surgery until now. She cannot miss any more school, so we were planning on doing it through the summer. So the fact that we've not addressed it is not true. That is completely false, as have been several allegations that have been made.
Sorry, but you need to wait your turn.
Okay.
And Your Honor, with all due respect to Miss Arwood, I did say correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm just not aware of all that stuff. And certainly I don't think Alex was aware yesterday when we talked that she was supposed to have another surgery.
Okay, well, I think kind of taking our eye off the ball in this case. The case arises because of the Arwood's use of methamphetamine. And at this point, the court has no way of knowing whether they're continuing to use or not without testing. I have to have testing. Testing is absolutely required and necessary. I've already ordered it. Don't know, I've heard the excuses again. Whether they are legitimate or not is just not helpful to the court because the court has to have the test. And we can't move off high center, so to speak, until we have the test. So I'm going to continue the existing orders of the court. I will modify the visitation to that requested by the state, weekends only, 2 and 2, until such time as I have some clean tests. If the Arwoods start turning in clean tests, then I'll go back to the original order regarding visitation. And as far as the counseling goes, I'm not sure what else is available, if anything, for the girls besides the counseling. I know the only local counselor is the counselor in Atlanta that they're seeing now. I don't know of another local one, which would require them to be transported some distance, I would think, if there was a counselor that could see them more often. I don't know what the options are on that.
Yeah, I mean, they have options through the Children's Advocacy Center because they were seen through the Children's Advocacy Center, but I know that the CAC also has been backlogged due to COVID and is trying to catch up. So I don't even know that that would be a better option. And they're not going to see them weekly. They're also going to do, probably once every other week, once a month type deal. It's not going to be a weekly counseling. And I don't know that they would see both of them. They may only see one of them. So I really think Kelly Jocelyn's probably our best option. And if she can't get them in weekly, then I don't really know what better option we have.
Your Honor, we may be on the cusp of getting them there weekly. My point was when I discussed it, that just should have happened sooner. I think Kelly's wonderful. I can't think of anybody better for the kids if we can get them in there and get them going. But that doesn't really take care of the other issues with the grandparents and the parents not receiving any counseling. And that was ordered as well.
Okay. Well, the main step that needs to be taken, Mr. and Ms. Arwood, is you need to test, complete your EDCATA evaluation, get your use of methamphetamine under control so that I can put this family back together. Okay. That's my goal. All right.
Yes, sir.
And if that can happen, then the kids are going to be better off. You're
Yes,
going to be
sir.
better off, but you've got to do what I'm asking you to do.
I
before I can do
understand.
it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Review date.
Initial permanency is September 3rd, Your Honor.
That's pretty far out.
It is.
How about August?
That'd be fine. We had July. We could do July or August is fine.
I want to do July and see if the Arwoods can start giving us some.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And hopefully we'll have some baseline tests that I can look at and change the visitation in July.
July 9th.
July 9th.
Yes, sir.
And the parties are excused in this case.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, that's all I have. May I be excused?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Mr. Lee, too late.
I'm here.
Okay. If you could meet with the Arwoods or get them to talk to you, try to stress on them the necessity for their testing.
I will.
All right, very good. Thank you. Let's see. Have we done Andrews?
No, Your Honor.
I think the only two we have left are Andrews and
Rollins.
which one do you want to do first?
We can do Andrews first. It'll be quick.
All right. CCL 21C 134 regarding Ezra, Ezekiel, and Emily Andrews. Let's see, that's Miss Scott. Is she in the waiting room?
Yeah, she's that, her and Mr. Andrews are both that 1+ Nord 100.
And I have Catherine Wright and Stevie Willis. Do they need to be in here?
No, Stevie Willis is on the Rollins case, and
So is
Catherine Ryan is
Wright.
also on the Rollins, yes.
Okay. Okay, Miss Scott, can you hear me?
Yes,
Looks like you're moving around.
yes, I'm at work. I'm in the back now.
Okay. Is Mr. Andrews going to join us?
He's going out for job interviews right now because we just saw his boss and he might have lost his job due to court and the
Oh, no.
kids. So
Okay, so he's not going to join us then?
no, he was here, but he left to go do that.
Okay, all right. Appearances, Miss Shelton.
Courtney Shelton, attorney for the department.
Carly Anderson, attorney ad litem.
Trisha Smith, Wacasa.
Okay. Miss Shelton.
Your Honor, we just had the removal hearing in this case. Mr. Andrews signed off on the paper since the last court hearing to work services. Both parents have signed their family plans. Brittany has had a hair follicle on April 28th. It was positive for methamphetamines, which didn't really surprise us, but she has had UAs on 4/26, 4/27, and 4/30, and all of those have been negative. So very pleased with those, that she is testing negative, hoping that that will continue, and that the hair follicle will eventually test negative. As for Charles, he failed to drug test on April the 21st. So I'm hoping that he'll start drug testing for us, as Miss Scott is, and that we'll see negative results with him. Because if she intends to stay with him, then he will also need to have some negative results. But they are attending their visits, and just continue status quo.
Well, first of all, Ms. Scott, congratulations on the progress you're making.
Thank you.
Do you have any influence with Mr. Andrews as far as he needs to test?
Okay.
You think you can get him to start testing?
Yes, I will talk to him. He did not want to go because he had told them he was going to be dirty for marijuana because he has his license. So he didn't want to go and test dirty, which I told him I had to go and test dirty with my hair follicles. So I'll tell him he needs to do what he needs to do.
What are you talking about? What kind of a license is he worried about?
For marijuana.
I don't understand.
Your Honor, in the family group conference, he explained they're from Oklahoma and he had a medical marijuana card from Oklahoma. And he did tell us that he would be dirty for marijuana, but that he had stopped using it. Actually, I think that week. So that would have been April 22nd. We did ask him to go drug test anyway, but I think that that's what she's referring to.
Okay.
Yes,
Ms. Scott, if you can tell him the worst thing he can do is not test, because testing and testing dirty is a whole lot better than not testing, because that way we can establish a baseline and move from there and know when he stopped. Okay.
Okay.
One of the problems with marijuana, as opposed to some other drugs, it probably stays in the system longer than any other illegal drug there is. So the sooner that he tests and stops, then the sooner it'll get out of his system.
Okay.
All right. What is their visitation right now?
Well, I believe it's Emily is placed in Houston area. It's Katie, I believe, with Miss Scott's brother. So anytime she can get down there to visit, we've agreed that that can be supervised, or if he can meet her halfway, however they want to work that out. Or if they can do virtual visits, we have no problem with that as long as it's supervised by him. Ezra and Ezekiel are currently in foster care. Yes. And we're working on a possible family placement if she'll give us some more names. She had said at the last hearing that she had some possible names that she wanted to give us. I don't know if those have been given yet. No? Okay. Because she had some, I believe, some family in Oklahoma, and he had some family as well. I'm thinking I remember this. I could be remembering this all wrong. Carly's shaking her head. Yes, I'm not remembering this wrong. So right now they're in foster care, and I think the visitation with them is 2 hours per week supervised by the department.
Okay. Ms. Anderson, can you shed any light on the possible relative placements?
Your Honor, I know at the last hearing it was mentioned, but I haven't received any information or anyone to look into yet, but I'm happy to do that. And I can, the CASA would be as well. But Emily is placed with family, and I was able to see her with Miss Elliott from CASA earlier this week. And I know that they are, that is the mother's brother and his wife. And I know that they've met her in Nacogdoches for some visits, and that they are working to make sure she does get visits and that those are going well. With regard to the other two kids, one thing I wanted to bring up, if I might, is that in the family group conference, I believe that Ms. Scott mentioned that Ezra and Ezekiel had some vaccinations, maybe in Oklahoma. If we can get that, if she can get that information to Ms. Hudson as soon as possible.
We already have that, Carly. We got those shot records within a couple of days of that hearing.
Okay, well, when I spoke to one of the foster parents, they were still scheduling vaccinations. So,
well, we got those records, and Ms. Hudson has them. So, I mean,
okay,
she can share them with the foster parent.
Right. I just didn't want the kids to have to be double vaccinated. So that's great. That's not an issue then. But other than that, Your Honor, the kids are doing well. I hope that Ms. Scott continues to test negative. I don't have anything to request for a change right now, since it is so soon after the initial hearing. I want to give the parents a little more time to work services. And hopefully Mr. Andrews will test, and like you said, so we can get a baseline.
Is there, did Ms. Scott's brother was he not willing to take on all three children? Is that why they're not all placed with him?
Your Honor, we actually discussed that a little bit when we were in Houston. And I think that his wife, Kelly, her initial inclination was, let's take all of them, but they don't have any children. This is a newborn. And so this was a huge change for them. They're doing great with Emily. I think that they may in the future, I don't want to speak for them or make any promises, but if the case continues on, they may be an option. But I know that they just didn't want to bite off more than they could chew in the beginning, especially with the newborn. So I don't think they're out, but I think they're being smart and just taking things as they come and trying to make a best judgment about what they can take on.
Okay. Costa?
Your Honor, I really don't have anything else to add other than just status quo and encourage Mom to continue what she's doing. And I'm happy to go to Oklahoma as long as I'm given the names and the information. I'm happy to make a road trip and go see if they're appropriate or not, so that the other two don't have to remain in foster care.
Ms. Scott, have you given names of people in Oklahoma to the department?
Really, to be honest, I would like for Ezra and Ezekiel to be at Brian and Kelly's with Emily so that they can get to know Emily. And out of all my family members, they're really the only ones I would trust Ezra and Ezekiel with at the moment. To be in a place where they're safe and have the things that they need. And so if they can't go with Brian and Kelly, I haven't seen anything wrong with them at visits or anything that makes me question them being and where they're at. I would like them to be together, but I mean, they look really good right now. So, and they look happy every time I see them. So as long as that stays like that.
You think there's a possibility your brother might take the other two then?
I would have to ask him because I thought that they were going to take all three of them. I didn't understand why they couldn't take all three of them. So I never really got an answer to that. So if they will take all three of them, I would like that, or at least for them to take Ezra with Emily or
Okay.
Ezekiel.
Well, of course, the main goal here is rather than placing them with your brother or anybody else is to get them back to you.
Yeah.
You'll just get clean for us, okay?
Yeah.
All right, and you're working on that, so that's good. You need to be working on Charles.
Okay.
Try to get him, if you're gonna stay with him, then you've got to get him clean as well as yourself. You understand?
Okay. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right. We'll keep the status quo, the same visitation and access as previously ordered. Review date,
August the 6th.
okay. I think that's soon enough. Next review, August 6th. Parties in this case are excused. Keep up the good work, Ms. Scott.
All right. Thank you.
You may sign off. Okay. It brings us to CCL 20C 421, Asian Rollins.
Your Honor, that's all I have. May I be excused?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Anderson.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
You too. And appearances in the Rollins matter.
Courtney Shelton. Oh, sorry. Courtney Shelton, attorney for the department.
I need to let someone in. Ms. Willis, let her in.
Yes, sir.
Catherine Wright.
Yes, sir.
In your honor, if you want to, Shelby and Ms. Hari are done for the day if you want to let them out.
Absolutely. You're free to go. Good afternoon or morning or whatever it is, Ms. Wright.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine.
He's talking. I'll try to keep him quiet.
I hear him.
Yeah. Okay,
Oh, goodness.
appearances. Have we made appearances? I guess we did.
Not yet.
Okay, go.
Courtney Shelton, attorney for the department.
Paige Blackman, attorney for the child.
Patricia Smith with CASA.
All right. Proceed.
Your Honor, this is a final termination hearing with regards to the mother, Bridget Rollins. She has been served. She has never appeared in this court. So I guess we just need testimony.
All right, call your first witness.
I'll call Stevie Willis, Your Honor.
Ms. Ryder, I'm gonna have to mute, I'm gonna have to mute you. That's okay, just stay where you are. I'll just put you on mute. You can still hear, you just won't be able to talk. Okay, Ms. Willis, raise your hand and be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may lower your hand and you may continue, Ms. Shelton.
Thank you. Would you state your name, please?
Stevie Willis.
And how are you currently employed?
I'm an alternative response caseworker for DFPS.
And were you employed with or in that position on December the 4th, 2020?
Yes.
And are you familiar with a case involving Asen Rollins?
Yes, I am.
And also Bridget Rollins?
Yes, I am.
And tell me how you became involved in that case.
I received a report when I was on call on December 4th. Do you want me to talk about what?
Yes,
Okay.
what the basis of that was.
So the call that I received was stating that the alleged father at that time, Roger, was in the hospital for a staph infection. And he had told the hospital staff that he wanted to talk to them because he was concerned about his child that had just been born. He told the staff that his girlfriend was at home at their trailer and she had given birth to their child 6 days prior at the home, and that she had cut the cord herself and suctioned the baby out herself with her mouth, and that she had not taken the baby to the doctor at all. And so he was worried about how the baby was doing, if the baby was healthy or not.
Okay. And did the hospital find this story a little outrageous?
Yes, they did. They didn't know if it was true or not, and so they verified it with a neighbor, and the neighbor said, yes, that's true. There really is someone living there, and they had a baby at the home.
Okay. So who was the first person that you talked to on this case?
So the first person that I went to talk to was actually the neighbor. I went and talked to the neighbor, and they said that she was gone, that she had left, and they didn't know where she had left, but someone had came and picked her up that day. He said that he had seen the baby, that the baby looked healthy, and he knew that only because she came over and asked to use his water to bathe the baby. And that was the extent of what he knew, but he did tell me where the father was and what room number. And so I went and met with the father or the alleged father at that time at the hospital, and he was able to tell me where mom was and said she was with a family member of his.
Okay. And so
area.
So did you then go, so you did meet with Roger Craver at the hospital?
Yes, I did.
And what all did Roger Craver tell you with regards to the birth of the baby and the subsequent days?
He said that he couldn't believe it, but she just he said it was almost like she had done it before, because she just went over there and just literally just gave birth to the baby and just cut the cord with scissors. And then he talked about suctioning the baby out and everything. And he said that the baby seemed to be doing fine. He denied any drug use at that time and said that once he found out that he was having a baby, because he thought he couldn't ever have kids, that he had stopped using any drugs.
Okay. How long had he known Miss Rollins?
He said that he had met her just a little bit before a couple months before she had gotten pregnant. That's what he says. He said that he had met her a couple months before she got pregnant, that they had only slept together one time. He said he met her at his brother's house. Like he indicated that it was some type of get together, and that they had slept together one time. And then a couple months later, he heard through the grapevine that she was pregnant. He contacted her, and he said that he then had her move into his home with him.
Okay. So he moves her into the home. She has the baby in the home, in this trailer. Did they have
Yes.
electricity in the camper?
He says they did have electricity, and the neighbor had concerns about if they had utilities or not. He said he had even tried to help them with utilities, and so he didn't know at that time if they had utilities then.
Okay. Were you able to verify whether there was electricity
No,
at the
I
camp?
wasn't able to get access into that home because she was already gone and he was in the hospital.
Okay, so you never actually saw the camper where the baby was born, the inside of it.
No, I did not.
Okay. So she gave birth in there, and he claims that they were not using methamphetamines, neither one of them.
No, he says they weren't.
As far as the few days after the baby was born, did she receive any kind of medical care?
No prenatal care and no medical care after the baby was born.
And why was he concerned about the baby?
He said he just didn't know if the baby was healthy or not because, she had had the baby at home, and he felt like he said he had kept urging her to take the baby to the doctor and she wouldn't do it.
Okay. Did you end up meeting with Bridget Rollins?
Yes, the other investigator that was on call in Titus County, because she was at a family member's house over there, went and initially met with her, and then I met them at the hospital at Titus Regional.
Okay.
I met the caseworker and Bridget and the baby.
Okay. And what did you observe when you arrived at the hospital?
Well, Bridget just seems like she was spaced out a little bit. She was very closed off to me and didn't really want to answer a lot of questions for me. She was trying to breastfeed the baby, but the baby did just seem really like it wasn't getting enough to eat. It was crying a lot, really fussy. I mean, she seemed like she was trying to bond with the baby, but I mean, and we did have a urine sample completed on the baby at the hospital at that time, and the baby was negative at the hospital.
Okay.
The other concern that I had, go ahead.
Go
Sorry.
ahead. The other concern you had?
I had a concern that the umbilical cord was missing, and if the baby had been born just 6 days prior, it was very concerning that there was no umbilical cord still attached at all. It was completely missing. So there was a lot of concern of, was the baby actually born 6 days prior, or was the baby older than that, or what had kind of happened that it would have already, fallen off.
Were you
That
able,
was a concern.
were you ever able to verify anything regarding that?
What we were able to verify after the fact, when the baby went back to the doctor a few days later, was that it seemed like mom had, I guess, removed the umbilical cord complete, like she had pulled the stump off herself and it was infected.
Okay. So it had actually gotten infected.
Yes.
And
it
was that treated when y'all were at the hospital?
It was treated when the baby had went, because the ER doctor felt more comfortable with the baby seeing an actual pediatric doctor. So the baby went a couple of days later to that pediatric doctor, and that's where they treated that umbilical cord.
Could that have become a bigger risk?
Yes.
Did you observe some obvious mental issues when you were talking to mom?
Yes.
What's I'm sorry.
It seemed like maybe from a long history of drug use. Like I said, she was very kind of spaced out, and it was very difficult to have a conversation with her.
What sorts of claims did she make regarding Roger Craver?
So to the investigator, Amy Ashley, prior to coming to the hospital, she stated that Roger was closer to her than a brother. And when she was questioned further about that, what she meant by that, then she told investigator Ashley that he was her brother. She was interrupted by the family member who stated that wasn't true. And she countered over them and said, yes, that was true. And
Roger later denied that, but that was what she initially said.
Okay. And then as far as her expected due date for ASIN, where did that date come about and when was that due date supposedly?
The first date that she said was that she was due March 4th, is what she had said when she found out. She said she was attacked, and then that she went to the doctor, and that's when the doctor told her at 2 months that she was pregnant, and her expected date was March 4th, which I don't know where she came up with that, because she ended up having the baby November, I want to say it was November 29th.
And how much did she say the baby weighed?
She said the baby weighed 9 pounds. Let me give you the exact.
Was it 9 pounds, 6 ounces?
Yes.
Okay. But she was also claiming it was 3 months premature.
Yes.
Okay. And then did she say anything kind of odd about the afterbirth?
Oh, she was gonna bury the placenta by where the baby was born.
And what
she
was
had
the
kept
purpose
it.
of that?
I do not recall that part, because that was something that she had told investigator Ashley. So I don't recall why she was doing that.
Did she? Okay. Did she talk about any past drug use?
She did talk about past drug use, but claimed that she had not recently used any drugs.
Okay. And did
She
that?
said in 8 to 10 months she hadn't used any drugs.
Okay. Is there currently a positive drug test on file with the court?
Yes, there is.
And what was that positive for?
That was positive for I want to say it was amphetamines. Give me 1 second and I can tell you. And I don't know if that, yes, I was going to say I didn't know if that one was filed, but I do believe that those are filed.
They were filed with the court.
Okay.
And did Roger Craver also test positive for methamphetamines?
Yes, he did.
Okay. Did you ever, after the child was removed from Bridget Rollins' care, did you ever have any other conversations with Bridget Rollins?
No, I did not.
You did talk to Roger Craver, however.
Yes, I did.
And he was actually interested in being the father to this child?
Yes, he was.
But was subsequently determined not to be the father?
That's correct.
Did she ever give you any other indication of who may be the father?
No, she did not.
Okay. And when was this case handed over to a conservatorship worker?
Right after we went to court on that one.
So in December?
Yes.
Okay. Do you feel that by giving birth to this child in a trailer and cutting the umbilical cord, which ultimately resulted in an infection and or exposing this child to methamphetamines, Ms. Rollins and or Mr. Craver allowed this child to remain in conditions or surroundings which endangered the physical or emotional well-being of the child?
Yes, I do.
And do you believe by doing that, she actually engaged in conduct which endangered the physical or emotional well-being of the child?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'll pass the witness.
Cross-examination. Ms. Blackman?
I have no questions of this witness.
All right, call your next witness.
Call Jill Black, Your Honor.
Raise your hand and be sworn, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
May proceed.
Would you state your name, please?
Jill Black.
And how are you currently employed?
I'm a conservatorship worker with Child Protective Services in Cass County.
And are you familiar with the case involving Asen Rollins?
Yes, ma'am.
And when did you become the conservatorship worker on this case?
Mid to late December is when I became the primary worker of 2020.
Okay. And since you became the conservatorship worker, have you ever had any contact with Bridget Rollins?
No, ma'am.
Have you attempted to contact her by phone?
Yes, ma'am. I've attempted to contact her by phone, text, and attempted visits to her home.
And do you know where she's currently residing?
I do not. My most recent contact attempt was Friday, April 30th to the address that we have on file. It did appear that someone resides at that home, but no one came to the door or answered any attempts. I left another business card and asked for a phone call back and did not receive one.
Okay. And based on conversations that we've had, you've come to understand that she actually goes into people's apartments trying to find a place to stay, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And has been arrested for that multiple times.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I assume that she has not provided any money, diapers, formula, anything for Asen since this case started.
That's correct.
Has not provided adequate support for the child.
Correct.
And has not expressed any
She
intent.
has not.
Expressed any intent to return for her child Asen.
No, she has not.
Has she previously had her relationship, her parent-child relationship terminated with any of her other children?
Yes, ma'am, she has.
And were those court orders filed with the court, with this court?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, I'd ask the court to take judicial notice of two documents that were filed. One was filed on April the 22nd of 2021. It was cause number 14-0648, where Bridget Rollins was terminated as to Aspen Rollins on July the 30th of 2015 in Harrison County, on a finding that her conduct was in violation of paragraph D of the Texas Family Code, 161 point, I'm blanking on 161.0011D.
That's granted.
And I would ask the court to also take judicial notice of document filed on April 23rd, 2021, which is cause number 14-0229, the order of termination out of Harrison County, where she was terminated. Bridget Rollins was terminated as to Ashton Miller on February the 26th, 2015, again on a finding that her conduct was in violation of 161.0011D of the Texas Family Code.
That's granted.
Thank you. Ms. Black, we discussed previously with Ms. Willis that Roger Craver was found not to be the father and was non-suited in this case, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you made an attempt to determine who the father is in this case?
Through attempts to contact Ms. Rollins, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and was there also a certificate of paternity registry conducted?
Yes, ma'am, there was. It was filed with the court on February 22nd of 2021, I believe.
Okay, and has anyone registered with paternity registry?
No, they have not.
Okay. Where has Asen been placed since the beginning of this case?
He's been placed with Robert and Catherine Wright in a foster home in Mount Vernon, Texas.
Okay. And are they, what is the long-term plan for Asen?
We have listed Asen as being in his intended to be permanent placement. We would like to move forward with the Wrights being able to adopt him.
Okay. And is that their intention?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Does he seem bonded to Robert and Catherine Wright?
Absolutely.
And have you actually visited him in the home?
Yes, ma'am, several times.
How is he doing there?
He is doing really well. We had some concerns when he very first came into care, just with the lack of prenatal care. We had suspicions that he was maybe going through some withdrawals at a period of time, and he has thrived in that environment. He is meeting all of his developmental milestones. He's doing really well. He's very happy there. He's healthy, very well loved and taken care of.
Are there any other siblings in the home, or would he be an only child?
There is a sibling in the home, an older sister.
And how does she feel about Asen?
She loves him.
How old is she?
I believe she's 4.
Oh, so she's going to spoil him as well.
5, I'm sorry. She's 5, yes.
Okay. Do you feel like it's in Asen's best interest for his mother's rights to be terminated and he be allowed to continue in the placement of Robert and Catherine Wright?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
And are you also asking the court, obviously, to terminate any unknown father?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll pass the witness.
Ms. Blackman.
Yes, Your Honor, I just have a few things. Ms. Black, pardon me, I have had a cold. With regard to Asen's, he has a little problem with his leg, correct?
Yes.
And that I just wanted to ask you, that seems to all be on track to hopefully resolve itself.
Yes, so he has a little hip dysplasia in one of his legs that Miss Wright noticed and took him to his PCP about. They did a referral to Scottish Rite Hospital to follow up on that. The Wrights have followed up with all of his appointments on that, and the doctors are hoping that he will grow out of that, but they do have providers that are following him throughout that process and have a treatment plan in the event that it doesn't and further intervention is needed.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right. Call your next witness.
I'll call Casa briefly, Your Honor.
Will you raise your hand and be sworn, please? Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, self you got?
Yes.
You may put your hand down. You may proceed.
Could you state your name, please?
Patricia Smith.
Ms. Smith, you've, state your position, please.
I'm the advocate coordinator for CASA.
Okay, and you are also familiar with Asen Rollins and Robert and Catherine Wright?
Yes,
And you've heard all the testimony today.
that's correct.
How is Asen doing in the Wrights home?
He's doing wonderful. He's bonded, he's thriving, and he's just growing. He's just a cute little boy, a little baby boy.
Do you feel like it's in his best interest that his mother's rights be terminated and that he be allowed to continue in the Wrights home so that they can adopt him in the future?
I do.
I'll pass the witness.
Ms. Blackman.
I have no questions for this witness, Your Honor.
All right. Call your next witness.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Ms. Blackman, anything?
Only, Your Honor, that I've been over and visited this family and this child, and I think this is a very good path.
Okay.
No witnesses.
All right. Ms. Shelton, can you give me your 161.001 subparagraphs?
Your Honor, we're requesting termination under paragraphs B as in boy, D as in dog, E, M, and that's it.
Is that for both her and the unknown father?
Well, the unknown father would be just as far as the certificate of paternity registry, which is Ms. Hill's probably going to have to help me with that one.
It's 1/6. Hold on, I have to look it back up.
I think it's 161.109.
Sounds right. Let me find it.
Yeah.
Yeah. 161.109. Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. All right, then, the court finds by clear and convincing evidence insofar as the parent of the child, Bridget Rollins is concerned. Court finds that she has first voluntarily left the child alone or in possession of another, not the parent, without expressing an intent to return, without providing for adequate support of the child, and has remained away for a period of at least 3 months. Secondly, that she's knowingly placed or knowingly allowed the child to remain in conditions or surroundings which endanger physical or emotional well-being of the child. Third, that she's engaged in conduct or knowingly placed the child with persons who engage in conduct which endangers the physical or emotional well-being of the child. And finally, that she has had her parent-child relationship terminated with respect to another child based on a finding that the parent's conduct was in violation of subparagraph D or E or a substantially equivalent provision of the law of another state. The court also finds by clear and convincing evidence that the natural father of the child is not registered with the Texas Paternity Registry of the state of Texas as required by section 161.009 of the Texas Family Code. The court finds by clear and convincing evidence that the termination of the parent-child relationship between the child and Bridget Rollins being is hereby ordered terminated, the same being in the best interest of the child. The court also finds that the termination of any unknown parent should also be any interest of any unknown parent should be terminated pursuant to the provisions of section 161.109 by reason of the failure of said parent to register with the paternity registry under the laws of the state of Texas. The court finds that it is in the best interest of the child to appoint the Department of Family Protective Services as the permanent conservator of the child. Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
No, you're.
When's the next one? April
July,
9th.
July 9.
well, hold on. June, July, August. Yes, July 9th.
Okay. Review July 9, 9 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
Good luck to the Wrights. Congratulations. And if there's nothing else, the court